These are the world's most exotic steaks, and we are going to put them to the test.
Big thanks to Napoleon Grills for sponsoring this episode.
I am super lucky. I just got my hands on a bunch of super exotic steaks. I'm not sure if all of them are going to taste good, but at least we're going to find out. As a chef, I really enjoy trying new things, tasting different things, and then figuring out what I can do with it. These steaks definitely fall into that category. They are a little bit wild. This is steak number 1. It looks totally normal, and at first glance I would just say that is a regular piece of beef. I could just grill this up, put a little bit of salt on it and enjoy it. And maybe I should. Why not? Can you guess which steak this is? Well, personally, I couldn't tell you from the outside. I'm going to be firing up my Napoleon grill. I'm going to create indirect heat on this side, and right here I have a cast iron plate which I'm going to place over the fire. That's going to heat up and I'll be searing on that. I'm going to close the lid so we can actually capture that heat. This is quite a lean cut. There's no fat to be detected anywhere. So to help it grill up a little bit and create a crust on the outside, I'm just going to drizzle on a little bit of olive oil, and that's going to help it sear. Otherwise you're not going to get that beautiful Maillard effect that gives us so much flavor and turns the protein into sugars. Protein. After 15 minutes, the cast iron grill is nice and hot. I'm going to put the steak on. There we go. Add a little bit more olive oil for the beautiful Maillard effect. Right, let's close the lid. Give it some time to cook, get up to temperature. I'm getting a beautiful sear on my steak. However, it does not want to let go, so I'm going to get my scraper on. And normally I would just let it sit until it lets go of himself. But since there's no fat in the steaks itself, it's probably going to stick on for a lot longer. With my spatula, and all I need to do now is flip it. Look at that crust. Beautiful. And I need to cook this steak to a core temperature of 54 degrees Celsius. So it's going to take about 8 more minutes. All right, let's get this off. Woo! I'm going to let this rest at least the amount of time that I cooked it. So that's going to be 8 minutes, maybe 10, before it's totally relaxed again, because now it's just like a gummy ball. You can bounce this. That's how tight it is. Way too tight to cut into it now. But since we're cooking outdoors, it's a little bit cold. Put a little bit of aluminum foil on top of it. Not completely cover it up, but just like a light blanket to keep a little bit of the heat in and a little bit of the cold out. A little sprinkle of salt on it to put it on my board. This is finishing salt, and it dissolves super easy and super fast. So what you do is you season it afterwards. That way you're not brining the meat. Ooh. That is quite intense. It actually smells like steak. Before I dive into this, let me tell you what this is. This is ostrich. Definitely not beef. This is too strange. This is nowhere near tasting like chicken. I know it's a weird comparison. It doesn't look like chicken. It's more like veal. It's so light. It's so delicate. It's definitely not as tender as veal, but it's really tasty. This is an exotic steak, and I'd love to hear your opinion about it, what it is, what you think it is. I sliced a piece of it, I put some salt on the board.
But it is exotic.
It's exotic. It's not beef.
It tastes like beef.
It tastes like beef.
Zebra.
No, it's not zebra. It's ostrich.
Ostrich. Oh, that's crazy. It's a big chicken, but so beefy. Wow, okay. I would have never guessed that.
And now on to exotic steak number 2. I kind of have the feeling that Jim knows a little bit about the zebra thing. It looks quite similar to what the ostrich that we had before this. It looks a little bit darker. And I see longer grains. So in the back of my mind, I'm thinking it's going to be a little tougher than the ostrich, but who knows? Can you guess which animal this is? It's just because of the color. It looks almost dark like organ meat. So it might also taste a little bit different. Only one way to find out. Let's put a little bit of olive oil on it again, just to give it a little bit of chance to get a good crust on the grill. There we go. Oh, a beautiful sizzle. I'm just gonna drizzle on a little bit more olive oil. Yes, you hear the difference? It's a subtle difference, but it's just a little difference that matters because it can make or break your crust. It's been 2 minutes. Let's check this puppy out. Ooh, that's a dark crust. It's much darker than we had on the last one. And that's kind of funny because the first one had trouble browning up a little bit. I had to work on it, but this one goes really fast. Let's get this off, let it rest a little bit. And again, with this steak, I'm aiming for a core temperature of 54 degrees Celsius. A little bit of salt while resting. This definitely doesn't smell like beef. This smells more like, I would say chicken, but more like duck. Before I slice into this, let me tell you what this steak is. This is kangaroo. Yes, from Australia, the big hopping fella. These animals always seem so friendly and so joyful, and therefore I'm guessing they taste fantastic.
Okay.
Okay.
What can I expect?
It is a lot more tender than the last one.
Yeah, but it looks kind of the same, so...
It's not a booby trap, it's not a booby trap.
Something happens to me. Whoa, that has a lot of flavor.
Now I'm curious.
It's a bit like the same like the previous one, but it has more aftertaste.
It tastes like a little bit of liver. A little bit of a wild taste. Can you guess what this is?
A kangaroo.
How do you know?
I've had this at a wok restaurant.
At the Chinese.
Chinese. I ordered north.
He ate this at the Chinese before. Well, see how exotic it is? I'm not going to say anything now. Everything I say now is racist.
Yeah, we can put this in. It's also very lean. It was more tender.
Good save, Jim. Good save.
Yeah, good save.
But do you feel that it tastes good, or is it something you would eat again?
It's not my favorite.
The last one was way better, right?
Yeah.
Way better. This is the third steak. A little bit lighter, but absolutely beautiful. And as you can see, it's a little bit thinner. Definitely a part of a fillet. But can you tell me which exotic animal this is? Because again, it's lean. All of these exotic steaks are so super lean. Without further ado, let's put it on the grill. Since it's such a thin cut, we're going really fast with this steak. I'm just gonna give this a flip. Oh, look at that. That is super fast. Doesn't get a really nice, good crusty sear. And what I'm taking away from that is, if it sticks to the cast iron, it's going to have a more beautiful Maillard effect. It's not giving me that beautiful crust. This is not a beautiful thing. Again, the core temperature should be 54, and I think, oh, we're already going over. So just a little sear is going to do the trick. There we go. Now we wait for at least the amount of time that we grilled it, but this only took about 4 minutes to grill, so we only need 4 minutes of resting. Can you tell me what this is, Jim? You might have seen this at the Chinese restaurant. I don't know, I don't go to the restaurant.
What's possibly...
But you can't tell from what it looks like.
No, it looks really steak-ish. Yeah.
But this is much lighter. Well, I haven't told you yet what it is, so I'll tell you after this. First of all, does it taste good?
This one I like more. It's the previous
Then
one.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But do you like it better than number one?
I think so, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I like number one better than
Still
this one.
better, okay.
Can you tell?
No.
This is zebra.
Oh, this was zebra.
This is zebra.
Oh, sick.
You can't tell, it doesn't really have the stripes or anything anymore, but it's tender. You can just pull it apart, but it doesn't give a beautiful crust.
Don't they have like really fat zebras? Yeah, like a chuck.
Grain-fed zebra.
Grain-fed
100 days grain, the 100 days grain-fed zebra. This literally came out of Africa.
That's really cool. That's
The ostrich came out of Poland.
Oh.
And the kangaroo came out of Australia.
That would be a shame if it was just the Dutch kangaroo.
Yeah. All right, I got one more steak. This is my 4th steak and the last one. And it's kind of special because it came with a big warning. It said clearly on the package that this steak comes from Africa and you need to cook it through and through. Don't eat it raw. Do not eat it raw. Let's not eat it raw. Let's not cook it to 54 degrees Celsius. I'm going to take a different approach to this. Most of the time when they say something like that, that's because these animals have worms or they have bacteria with them that are really gnarly. So it didn't say biohazard, but I'm just going to take the approach of cooking it through and through in a different manner, because it looks like a piece of meat with no fat, and no fat means that it's going to dry up if you cook it through and through. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make a nice little bath for this piece of meat. So I'm going to take this nice little cast iron pan, put some butter in it. On top of that butter goes this piece of meat, and that is going to go in a high position in my grill where the butter can slowly melt, warming up that steak. And when that butter is slowly melting and bubbling away, it's going to cook my steak through and through. I guess the last steak is done, cooked in butter through and through, and it's now half the size that it was. Well, Jim, the last one.
It looks completely different.
Yeah, and it shrunk. It was half the size before.
No.
Yes, really.
Okay. It looks like fish.
Tilapia fillet. I won't do it like that. But it looks tasty, right? It looks like fried chicken.
Yeah.
It's got a little bit of the smell of butter. Why doesn't it cut like fish? It doesn't cut like chicken either. What could be this stuff?
Yeah.
Let's just do it. Hope I cooked it enough.
Hope I cooked it.
It's not bad.
It is really good.
It is. Drum roll, please. Crocodile.
Oh,
Crocodile from Africa.
that's cool.
And it came with a big warning. Cook through and through. Do not eat raw.
Do not eat raw.
Whatever.
Okay.
So I took this
So we
seriously. I put it in some butter and cooked it for a long time.
Okay.
So this is the best way I know how to do it, and I must say,
Well,
not that bad.
yeah, that's good.
Well, there you have it, guys. So far, our experiment, and I thought I had a lot of fun trying out new foods. A lot of similarity from things that we already know. Would I just go and buy crocodile and kangaroo and stuff like that? No. Ostrich?
How
yes.
expensive was this?
It's a bit more expensive than regular beef. Yeah. It's just fun to do, a little experiment. These things you can find online these days, so just Google it, and who knows, somebody carries it near you, a butcher or someone, and you can get some of it yourself and do this experiment at home. See you guys in the next video. Cheers.